Hello, guys. Welcome to Professor Vipin's The Week That Was, Episode 2. A lot of crazy shit happened last week, and let's get started to understand what are all these important events. The opposition party has gone about criticizing the strikes that BJP said has happened in Pakistan, and especially Digvijay Singh went on to ask the proof whether or not these airstrikes even happened. The funny thing is, of course, the opposition party, when the airstrikes happened on February 26th, did go about saying that I salute the bravery of the Indian Air Force and so on. So you can see the tweets that was put out by Rahul Gandhi and Arvind Kejriwal, where they were in fact supporting the IAF strikes. And as per their tweets, it looks like in fact they are supporting the IAF and they do believe the IAF did take some action against the Pakistan terror bases in Balakot. Now I'll come back to that topic of doubting the efforts of the armed forces in some time, but other interesting things in Pakistan aside from the people of Pakistan nominating Imran Khan for a Nobel Peace Prize, that is way too hilarious for me to even discuss. Apart from that, Pakistan has gone about making a statement saying that no terror group will be allowed to operate on Pakistan soil. What is funny is the picture you see on top there is the leader of the terror group, which was in fact responsible for the November attacks that happened in Mumbai, the 26/11 attacks that happened in Mumbai. And the person there you see is in fact Hafiz Saeed. Hafiz Saeed has been in fact identified as a terrorist, and the person you see below him is of course the founder of the Jaish-e-Mohammed, which was responsible for the Pulwama terror attack and of course a series of incidents where there have been some terror attacks, there have been some encounters in Kashmir, which the Indian army has been able to in fact take down. The Jaish-e-Mohammed, which was in fact founded by Maulana Masood Azhar. So this is in fact the two terrorists in fact who are there in Pakistan, and these guys are roaming as freely as you and I. In fact, even when there was some action taken against Hafiz Saeed, it was only a house arrest and this dude was given a massive mansion to stay in. And it's quite funny to see Pakistan repeatedly ask India for proof against the terror outfits that have been in fact coming out from Pakistan, because the 26/11 attack, when it happened, the main perpetrator behind that of course was Ajmal Kasab, and we were able to in fact give proof of the village where Ajmal Kasab is actually from and say that look guys, he is from in fact Pakistan. And his whole family in fact admitted that yes, he is from here, from the country of Pakistan, and he did come to India of course to commit that crime that he did. So despite giving Pakistan all the possible proof, they do not seem to take any action against Hafiz Saeed or against Masood Azhar, who are in fact major terrorist group heads, and they are in fact originating from Pakistan. And surprise, surprise, Nirav Modi was spotted in London roaming freely. Nirav Modi is the main individual behind the Punjab National Bank scam, which involved upwards of 12,000 crores, which was siphoned out of Punjab National Bank through illegal means. Now, I had done a detailed video about that. You should find that on my channel, especially about how Nirav Modi in fact committed one of the biggest scandals in India. Now, this dude very cleverly left India and he's in fact relinquished his citizenship. And by relinquishing his citizenship, he no longer in fact can be tried in India without having go through hundreds of bureaucratic steps in order to get him back from London to India and have him go through that trial. So what is even funnier here is the jacket that you see him wear there is apparently costing about 10,000 pounds, that is equivalent to about 9 lakh rupees. And the internet lost their mind saying that this man is able to wear a 9 lakh rupees jacket. There are a whole bunch of hilarious Twitter comments on what they had to say regarding this man wearing a 9 lakh rupees jacket. So that's the latest update we have on Nirav Modi. Yes, it's going to be a bureaucratic hurdle to get the approval of the UK government to have him extradited to India, where he could face trial for the charges that he's been accused of. In episode 1 of the week that was, I had stated the importance of Nifty hitting 11,000 points, and it looks like Nifty has been able to touch a little over 11,000 points, where it closed on Friday at 11,020.05 points. So it is nice to see the market has been on an upward trend last week, where there were quite a few gains made. And yes, I do have some investments in the stock market, and I'm not a day trader. And so I'm going to go slightly off topic here because there is a lot of misconception by people regarding investing in the stock market. Investing in the stock market is so much different compared to trading in the stock market. Trading involves taking a significant amount of risk on a day-to-day basis, and the amount of money you invest in trading is a lot more than the amount of money you invest for, or rather you use for investment purposes. When it comes to trading, you don't necessarily have a diverse portfolio, but when it comes to investment, you create a diverse portfolio. You take measures to protect yourself from any potential losses and so on. So no, I do not do day trading. I do invest in mutual funds, and I see that mutual funds are a lot safer compared to trading. Trading, folks, is for a very small group of people. Don't try to get into that without having a lot of capital with you. And of course, you are ready to let go of this capital. You're ready to accept that, okay, I'm going to suffer some loss if it happens, and you have no complaints. You have no serious issues in case you lose out on money through trading. So invest wisely and don't consider trading as a priority for making a lot of money. This is quite possibly the most interesting event that I've seen happen this week. So I thought I'd explain to you guys in detail as to what exactly happened between ICICI Bank and Deepak Kochhar, or that is Chanda Kochhar and Deepak Kochhar. Some backdrop to the story. Chanda Kochhar, when she was the head of ICICI Bank, when she was the CEO of ICICI Bank, had given a 300 crore rupee loan to Videocon Group. And Videocon Group had invested that 300 crore rupees in a company owned by Chanda Kochhar's husband, Deepak Kochhar. Deepak Kochhar owned a company called, or rather still owns a company called as NuPower Renewables. So there was a lot of speculation that because Chanda Kochhar was the head of ICICI Bank, there was a lot of favoritism that was put in place when it comes to giving that loan to Deepak Kochhar. So that was in fact a very much possibility, and after a detailed investigation, they did confirm that there was in fact favoritism involved when it comes to giving out this loan. So as soon as this happened, or rather during the investigation, ICICI Bank made sure that Chanda Kochhar steps down, and they had a replacement, an interim CEO for ICICI Bank. And after the investigation was done, Chanda Kochhar was brought back, but the investigation was showed that there was favoritism that was involved, and Chanda Kochhar was promptly removed by ICICI Bank. And ICICI Bank, and what was very shocking about this is, levied one of the heftiest penalties on Chanda Kochhar. Now, Chanda Kochhar was there in ICICI Bank for almost about 7-8 years, and when she was there for all these years in ICICI Bank, she received all these bonuses, these benefits given by ICICI Bank, things like dividend and so on. Now, ICICI Bank put such heavy penalties on her. One of those penalties were that she needs to pay back ICICI Bank all these bonuses and rewards that she received during her tenure. And a lot of news agencies did the calculation, and they showed that Chanda Kochhar owes ICICI Bank 350 crores. So I'm not sure how she's going to pay that back, but there is a little bit of history behind the whole Chanda Kochhar and Deepak Kochhar incident. Now, the Enforcement Directorate, through their investigation, show that there was a lot of bribes given out during the transaction between ICICI Bank and Videocon Group and NuPower Renewables. So here is an infographic explaining what exactly happened. So here is step 1, and there is also, of course, a step 2, which will help you understand what exactly happened. Now, the first step of the transaction was ICICI Bank gives out a 300 crore loan to NuPower Renewables. Now, this is the main transaction that we are looking at. Now, ICICI Bank CEO then was Kochhar, and NuPower Renewables was headed by her husband Deepak Kochhar. Venugopal Dutt, the guy behind Videocon, owns Supreme Energy Private Limited. Now, Supreme Energy Private Limited went on to provide a 64 crore investment to NuPower Renewables. So, like I said, this was in fact supported by Venugopal Dutt. As soon as he saw that a 300 crore loan was given out, he went on to invest about 64 crore rupees to NuPower Renewables. Now, he did that through his company called as Supreme Energy Private Limited. So he didn't do it directly, he did it through his company. So this is one step of the transaction where there was a potential bribe or kickback that was given to the Kochhar family because they in fact was able to approve this loan where her husband was involved in that transaction. He was the beneficiary of this loan. Now here is where you can see the money trail gets more complicated. So SR Group decides to invest rupees 163 crores in a company called as First Land Holdings. So who owns First Land Holdings? It is the vice chairman of SR Group himself, Ravi Ruiyas. Now the Ruiyas are the people behind the SR Group, and First Land Holdings is a company that is incorporated in Mauritius. And yes folks, Mauritius is a tax haven. So SR Group invests rupees 160 crores in First Land. First Land takes that money and invests 324 crores in NuPower. So who owns NuPower here? You guessed it, Deepak Kochhar, the husband of Chanda Kochhar. Now afterwards, this transaction gets interesting because ICICI Bank lent to SR for a project in US, and of course that project has now gone bankrupt. So there's also that potential, that speculation that SR Group also went on to give the Kochhar family a certain amount of bribe because the ICICI Bank went on to give them that loan, which was responsible for making that project happen in the US. So I have a new format on my show called as the Devil's Advocate, where you will see me support maybe a popular or an unpopular opinion, depending on, of course, what those opinions are. So in today's episode, we're going to have the Devil's Advocate topic, that is it okay for political parties to take credit for the efforts of the armed forces? Because BJP has been receiving a lot of flack by the opposition party that they are taking credits for the efforts of the armed forces. It could be the surgical strike or it could be the IF attacks in Balakot. So I say this because political parties have always been taking credit for this, and it's not just the BJP. Even Indira Gandhi took credit for many of the efforts of the armed forces during her tenure as the Prime Minister of India. And the issue of prime ministers or presidents or leaders of the country taking credit for efforts of the armed forces is not something new. In fact, George W. Bush won the presidency twice because of the war that happened in Iraq. And because of the war that happened in Iraq, he was able to in fact get that presidency term extended for one more time. And he did take a lot of credit for the same, that he is in fact wiping out weapons of mass destruction from the world by having that war in Iraq. So there is one incident where George W. Bush, a political leader, in fact took credit. Aside from that, even Barack Obama took credit for the death of Osama bin Laden, which of course happened in Pakistan in a place called as Abbottabad. So it's not surprising to see political parties or any leaders for that matter take credit for the efforts of the armed forces, and it is not surprising as well to see that the armed forces of most of the countries in the world are continuously manipulated and are under the control of the political leaders. Let's not even get into Russia and how they in fact control their armed forces. So Vladimir Putin is noted for doing things like this, where he does take credit for the efforts of the armed forces. So in my opinion, yes, it is fine for them to take credits for the efforts of the armed forces, but it is not something that many people seem to be comfortable with. So do let me know what your opinion is on this matter, and leave your comments and let me know so that we can have a healthy debate on what your opinions are versus mine. Anyway, folks, thank you for listening to me. Do like, share, and subscribe. And if you're interested to follow me on social media, you can find the links to my social media pages in the description box. So I have a Facebook page. You can follow me on Facebook. You can also follow me on Twitter. And of course, you can also follow me on Instagram. So thank you guys. Have a nice day. Bye.